Thank you for joining this presentation. So today we're going to talk about bid documents. So the ICAT Bid More consultants will be sharing tips and information on bid documents. Today we have Aaron Shalanson and Alex Fisher, who will be providing us with some great information, some great tidbits about bid documents. So let's get ready. Let's chime in. Let's pay attention and see what we have from Alex and Aaron. So ICAT has Bid More 5 steps to proposal writing. Step 1, what is the requested scope of work? 2, what are bidding requirements, including minimum requirements, evaluation criteria, and submission instructions? 3, what are required forms and guidelines for completing each form? 4, what are the required bidder documents? 5, what is the required pricing structure? So this particular presentation, we're going to look at step 4 that talks about what are the required bidder documents. So that's our focus for this presentation. So let's get started. So what are the key differences between a bid and a proposal? Aaron, tell us.
Well, this is an important question to understand, your overall bid documents. It's often helpful to start at the highest level and understand the differences between the two types of solicitation responses that you can submit. And those are, bid forms or an entire proposal. Bid documents are usually less complex and less detailed than a proposal. Proposal is going to be pages long. It's going to be detailed. It's going to have criteria, a lot of different things. A bid typically is going to be very specific. It's going to be several forms that you submit, including possibly a particular price and structure. So a proposal will come in as what is called an RFP, a request for a proposal. That's when you'll submit. A bid, an invitation to bid, an ITB, right? So also bid submission requirements are often different between the two. With bids, you submit forms. Proposals require complex writing and structure and forms themselves. So with bids, typically you'll find, as I said before, all those documents you need within that solicitation. Proposals, you'll find everything that you need, but you will have to write around any forms or documents. So,
Hey, this is Alex. I'll chime in here. I once had a client. It was for a city municipality. Their procurement manager, their senior manager, always said, "A bid is a bid is a bid is a bid. A proposal is totally different than a bid. A bid is generally kind of a finite number, and then the proposal, you're proposing, what you're going to do. So sometimes things change with proposals. So bids tend to be more finite than proposals."
exactly. And often with proposals, you'll find one thing that you don't normally see in bids, and that's an evaluation criteria. Proposals, I would say 90% of proposals I've ever seen have some form of evaluation criteria. You have to respond to all of these different questions as part of that proposal, whereas bids don't typically have a whole long list. They have very specific, criteria, and the list is typically not too long.
I see. Okay. All right. Thank you both for sharing that information. So hearing what you all just explained, the difference between the bid and a proposal, what are bid documents? Explain to me, what are bid documents?
Well, bid documents are any document that you essentially submit in response to a solicitation. But again, keep in mind the difference between a bid and a proposal. So with bid documents, you're going to be submitting a bid for that. With proposals, you're going to typically the best practice is look out for what type of solicitation you're getting. Are you getting an RFP? Are you getting an ITB? Are you getting an RFQ? And that's going to define what it is that you're going to need to write. So always keep in mind those bid documents are just anything you're going to submit in response to that solicitation.
So this is Alex, those bid documents, they could be a collection of forms, they could be a collection of plans for a project, they could be a collection of instructions, they could be your bid submission form, they could be pricing that because your bid is kind of finite, it's a number. So your bid document could be the solicitation that the client gives for the bid, but then also your bid submission forms are considered bid documents as well.
Okay. Thank you, Alex and Aaron, for giving me that kind of definition. So basically, kind of anything that the bid or proposal is asking for, those documents are considered bid documents. So there's nothing in particular that I'm looking for that will say bid documents. It's just kind of what the bid or proposal is asking for. So sounds about right. All right, cool. Thank you so much. All right. So where are bid documents found? Is there like a list or, where can I find this?
Often your bid documents will be listed or it'll be like your bid documents will be indicated in a list somewhere within the ITB. As an example, a lot of ITBs have what's called a checklist of submission. All of those documents in that list are your bid documents, so because you're going to be submitting them. Also, it can be it can be also be found in your submission instructions. What documents are going to be preceded in this in this document, and that's inside those submission instructions. They may indicate what all is supposed to be in that ITB that you're going to be submitting or reading. Also, solicitations will indicate specifically, what to submit and how. Is it, always remember that. So when you're reading, they're always going to tell you what you're going to be submitting and how you're going to be submitting it. The key, that's key to that.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Aaron. So are there any common themes, documents, or requirements between proposal and bid request?
Okay, so both have lists of requirements, submission instructions, attached forms. They both contain similar sections too, like scopes of service and deliverables. Some requirements are pretty uniform too. Your references, your insurance requirements, your licenses. So yeah, there's a lot of common themes when it comes to what you're going to be submitting, with your bid documents.
Okay, all right. That's good to know. Thank you so much. And when should you write a proposal and when should you only submit bid documents?
Typically, as I said before, you'll receive a specific solicitation, and it's going to be labeled RFP or request for proposal, or it may be ITB for invitation to bid. So with RFP, that's a request for a proposal. You're going to be writing a proposal for that. With invitation to bid, you're simply submitting bid documents, and and that's it. You don't submit any more than what they're asking for in that packet. So the ITB usually consists of the bid form prices and other forms are listed in the requirements in the submittal check, and there's a submittal checklist. So when you receive a solicitation, that, there's times that you'll receive a solicitation too that may not quite be clear as to, what you need to submit. And in cases like that, it typically doesn't hurt to ask the solicitor, well, what is your preference in this? But also, there are some key things to look out for, like when the requirements are numerous, when you have that evaluation criteria, especially, then most likely you're going to be writing a proposal for that. So, keep that in mind. Proposals are you're going to write proposals whenever you need a more complex project performed. So, and then, and Alex had said something earlier about proposals as well. What was it?
I'm not sure what you're referring to. I lost my train of thought, but I generally would agree with you, Aaron. You should only submit basically what the solicitation requires you to submit. If it says we submit a proposal, you submit the proposal. If it says please submit, your information on the bid documents provided, then you provide your information on the bid documents provided.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Okay, no need to give them too much, no need to add more if it's not asked for, right?
Yes.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate that information. All right, so what are some examples of bid documents?
As I said before, the documents you're going to be submitting with a bid. So it's going to be things like, your price sheet, price list. There's going to be a form called the bid form. Sometimes you may have to submit a small Q&A, which is like an evaluation. A common theme, though, is references, conflicts of interest, insurance forms. Sometimes you may have to submit some kind of company financials to back up that your company's profitable or safe to use. A big one, bond security documents, and every once in a while you may have some federal or additional local forms that may need to be attached as well. So usually can consist of those. I would say the ones that I mentioned, especially latter, are pretty common.
Okay, so that's some of those common forms that you mentioned earlier and previously when we talked, right?
Yes.
All right, good deal. Okay, all right. Are there any other tidbits, any information that you think would be best to share with our listeners? Alex, Aaron?
I can think of some best practices going back to what we were, what we've said in other trainings similar to this. Read, make sure you understand. Checklists are your best friend. Always list things out. Alex, did you have some more?
I would always say pay attention and, read it one day, set it down, walk away, come back the next day and read it again. Because you never know whenever you're reading something, how you interpret it one day. And then when you read it twice, you're like, wow, I was really off base on that one.
Okay, all right. Sounds like some great advice. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm sure our listeners do too. And with that being said, again, thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Alex, for taking the time to talk to me today and to share some great tips and information for our listeners. So again, thank you guys. We appreciate your time. Enjoy your day. Thank you so much.